Australian slang words.
What's the John Dory?
This one has its roots in English slang. Cockney is conspicuous for its sing-song rhyming style, and John Dory rhymes with a story. While an actual John Dory is a fish found in Sydney Harbour, this phrase is asked when someone wants to know the gossip or what's going on.
Grommet.
A young surfer.
True Blue.
How to distinguish a real Australian? True Blues are loyal friends and family members with solid personalities. One of the aspects that makes English difficult for learners is that slang and idiomatic expressions tend to differ from country to country where English is spoken. It's not too hard to find sources for British or American English, but what about all the other countries where English is the most common language? If you're headed for Australia, or if you just want to hear some of the funniest and most enjoyable slang expressions in the English language anywhere, we can help. We've compiled some Australian slang expressions for your enjoyment and comprehension. Ready, mate?
What's the John Dory?
This one has its roots in English slang. Cockney is conspicuous for its sing-song rhyming style, and John Dory rhymes with a story. While an actual John Dory is a fish found in Sydney Harbour, this phrase is asked when someone wants to know the gossip or what's going on.
Do the Harry.
Harry Holt was a prime minister who mysteriously disappeared in 1967. While some suggest he may have been abducted, others believe he quite literally bolted from the responsibilities of his political role. Either way, Harry lives on in infamy as Australians refer to someone getting the hell out as doing the Harry.
Alvo, Smoko, Bottle-o, Defo.
If an Aussie can find a way to shorten a word, they will. A smoke break turns into smoko, a liquor store is a bottle-o, definitely becomes defo, and afternoon gets gutted down to arvo.
Gone walkabout.
This phrase derives from Indigenous culture, as walkabout was a foot journey taken by Aborigines into the bush in order to live according to traditional Indigenous practices. Today, many native Australians enjoy going walkabout, for example, backpacking, traveling, hiking, etc. If you're looking for someone only to be told they've gone walkabout, don't worry too much.
Bonza.
Also spelled B-O-N-Z-A, it means excellent or great, essentially the Australian equivalent of the American awesome. This truly versatile word can be used as an adjective. Bonzer, mates. A noun. That concert was a real bonzer. An adverb. That food went down bonzer. And an exclamation of joy or agreement. Bonzer.
Bicky, Brecky, Barbie.
In the land down under, the diminutive IE suffix is just as common as O. Case in point, the word bicky, which takes inspiration from the British biscuit. Australian slang is full of words just like this. Barbie is short for barbecue, brekkie is short for breakfast, and Aussie is widely recognized slang for Australian.
Stubby holder.
If you go to a game or the beach, you'll likely bring along your stubby holder. Another word for a koozie, a stubby holder is so named because it holds your stubby beer.
Go Troppo.
Oz is known for its unforgiving sunshine and humid tropical heat. To go troppo refers to the days brought on by such heat and means to go crazy.
G'day.
What list would be complete without the most classic of all Aussie slang? G'day combines the word good and day into one.
Bogan.
The pejorative term refers to a redneck or uncultured person. Popularized by the Australian show Bogan Hunters, a bogan is considered white trash, typically someone with a mullet and or bad teeth who engages in uncivilized behavior.
Crikey.
R.I.P. Steve Irwin. We will never forget your bewildering yet endearing love for some of nature's fiercest reptiles. Crikey is an exclamation of surprise, often interchangeable with blimey or holy shit.
Thongs.
It's not what you're thinking, okay? Thongs are sandals.
Did sit.
True. If you ask an Aussie about the best country in the world, they're likely to respond that no other place beats the land down under. Dead set.
Grommet.
A young surfer.
True blue.
How to distinguish a real Australian? True blues are loyal friends and family members with solid personalities. Examples of famous true blues include Steve Irwin, Scott Cam, Paul Hogan, Ned Kelly, and ostentatious.
Whoop whoop.
There's the outback, and then there's the whoop whoop. The phrase loosely translates to middle of nowhere or the boonies.
Mate's right.
A friend's discount. If you have a friend working at your local bar, then lucky you, you're likely to get a few pints at a mate's rate.
Have a Captain Cook.
Named in honor of the first Brit to map Eastern Australia, Captain James Cook, this phrase means to have a look or brief inspection.
She'll be right.
No worries, mate. Everything's going to be okay.
Two-pot screamer.
We've all got that friend who has more than one drink and immediately starts lurching around and making a fool of themselves. A two-pot screamer is someone who can't hold their liquor. They might be better off keeping the boozing to a minimum.
Carrying on like a pork chop.
We've never met a pork chop we didn't like, but apparently the Aussies have. To carry on like a pork chop means to act unreasonable.
Have a roo loose in the top paddock.
Similarly to the American phrase, a few fries short of a happy meal, this Australian colloquialism describes an intellectually impaired person. And the more loose roos, the more moronic the person.
Give it a burl.
To have a go at something. Sure, we'll give it a burl. What makes these especially difficult is that many of them, such as do the Harry, would be very difficult to figure out without guidance. But now you're ready to use at least some of the most common pieces of Australian slang. There are many more.